Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. It's that time of the week where I go over my college football predictions. So let's go over my top 10 college football games for week 3. There's a lot of good games on paper this week. So let's go start with my top matchup with number 6 Georgia, who are 4.5 point favorites, versus 15 Tennessee, 3:30 ABC game. Neither team has played anyone so far, so we'll now see if these teams can show that they're true playoff contenders. Tennessee could really use the win though. They I couldn't believe this when I found this out, but Georgia has won this matchup 9 years in a row. Let me repeat that. 9 years in a row. And most of those were blowouts. Even back when Tennessee had really good teams. Blowouts. Now, since Georgia's quarterback, in my opinion, Gunnar Stockton, or whatever his name's like, since he's not as good as his former predecessors were, I do think the Volunteers can keep this close, which would be big for them. But until a long streak gets broken like that, I'll ride with the streak and the Bulldogs to get this game, either winning 23-17. Next, you got 16 Texas A&M versus 8 Notre Dame, who are 6.5 point favorites, prime time on NBC. And this was a close matchup last year, and it should be the case once again. And this is a big game for the Irish, though. If they lose this game, there's a good chance they can miss the playoffs, even if they win out due to their weak schedule going forward. They had an early bye week this week to prepare for this game, which could help. Both teams have really good running backs and good offensive lines, so expect this to be kind of a lower scoring, both teams trying to run out the clock type of situation. To me, what this matchup comes down to is I think Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko and his defense acumen can cause confusion for a young quarterback like CJ Carr from Notre Dame. And since Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed has had the experience in the big games, I think the Aggies can return the favor and beat the Irish at home like the Irish beat A&M at their place last year. So I have A&M winning 20-17. Number 3, you got 18 South Carolina. I mean, no, South Carolina, South Florida, my bad, versus number 5, Miami, who are 17.5 point favorites, 4:30 game CW network. If South Florida can get another big win, they'll clearly be in the driver's seat to be the top G5 team that can make the playoffs, assuming they win their conference championship game after beating Boise State and Florida to begin their season. I'm actually surprised that this line, the spread, is so huge. I know Miami looks to be better, than the other two teams I just mentioned, no doubt, the but I'm just surprised considering the way South Florida's been playing with a bunch of confidence. The key for Miami, though, is its offense. I don't think South Florida can compete in a shootout. So if it does become a high scoring game, Miami wins easily. If it's a lower scoring game, then South Florida could easily pull off another upset. I think Miami will score just enough to get the win. I have them winning 27-16. Number 4, you got Vanderbilt versus 11 South Carolina, who are 3.5 point favorites. Primetime game on a C network. I think this is a big game for both teams. Whoever's the loser in this game, I think, will effectively be eliminated from SEC title contention already, since both have very hard schedules going forward. I love the coaches and the quarterback battles in this matchup as much as I like Diego Pavia for Vanderbilt. I will go with the more talented quarterback, Lenore Sellers, to win that battle and give South Carolina a close win to remain undefeated. I have South Carolina winning 27-22. Number 5, you got 12 Clemson, or 3.5 point favorites, versus Georgia Tech, noon game on ESPN. My preseason championship pick, which is Clemson, is off to a very rocky start offensively to begin the year, to say the least. I can look past the struggles against LSU in the opener, but it's hard to look past them being down 16 in the first half against Troy, last week. That no matter what type of weather condition game you're in, that was just tough to look at. So Clemson could turn things around at some point, but I feel at best, or Clemson just may have a good team, but not great team, which is what they were last year. Just good, not great. And if that's the case, then Georgia Tech has a great chance at home to pull off the upset. And I think I'm good. And this is a pick that I originally picked Clemson, back preseason, but now I'm going to change my pick here, and I'm picking Georgia Tech to get the upset and show they're a true ACC contender. So I have Georgia Tech winning 24-20. Number 6, you got Florida versus 3 LSU, 7.5 point favorites, primetime ABC game. And this was a huge game until Florida's debacle last week. I think since they got embarrassed last week, they'll have to play better this week. If Florida's offense has issues against South Florida, then they're going to have a very hard time against an improved LSU defense. Since LSU has not had a great offensive start to the season, which has been very surprising actually, I think that can potentially keep the Gators in the game. But I do like the Tigers in Death Valley at night to get the big win, out of the way 23-13. Number 7, you got Arkansas versus 17 Ole Miss, who are 6.5 point favorites, primetime ESPN game. This game last year that was played in Arkansas was not close at all, so hopefully this matchup is a lot closer this time around. Ole Miss fought off some demons, if you want to say, to get a big road win at Kentucky after being down 10-0 to start the game. That easily could have gone sideways, especially after what happened last season where Kentucky held them out of the playoffs. So that was a good win for them. I think Arkansas's offense can definitely put a scare in Ole Miss's defense. However, since Arkansas is not the best defensive team among SEC teams, I think Ole Miss should be able to just score enough to win the game. So I have them winning 28-20. Number 8, you got Colorado versus Houston, or 4.5 point favorites. This is the Friday night, primetime game on ESPN. This is a big game to kick off Big 12 play. For Colorado, they're already on their third string quarterback, Ryan Staub, after benching Caden Salter, the Liberty transfer, and the highly rated recruit Julian Lewis, who in the Delaware game last week. I think offensively, they will struggle against a good Houston defense. So as long as Houston's offense can continue to just look decent, like they have the first 2 weeks, albeit against not the greatest opponents, but just look decent, then I think Houston should get the win here. I have Houston winning 24-17. Number 9, you get Duke versus Tulane, who are 1.5 point favorites, primetime ESPN2 game on Saturday night. This is an underrated game, actually. So Duke's quarterback, Darian Munsa, is going to be playing against his former team from last year. I know Duke did not have the showing they wanted to against Illinois last week. However, a lot of that was because of mistakes and fumbles and all that. Like if Duke just plays mistake-free on offense, then they're still going to be a force in the ACC going forward, despite that loss to Illinois. So if there's a win here for Tulane, it would be huge. If Tulane wins this game, then they're in that conversation with South Florida. It's okay, maybe they're one of the best G5 teams out there. I think this would be a close game that comes down to the wire. In the end, though, I don't think Tulane's defense will be able to make the key stops necessary in the games. Like they struggled to stop South Alabama last week. I think Duke's offense should be better than South Alabama, so therefore I'll take Duke to win this game close. So I have them winning 27-23. And then last but not least, it was tough for me to put which game on here. I could have done Minnesota, Cal, Wake Forest, NC State. Like there just wasn't a lot of solid options, but I'm just gonna go with the one that's on ABC at noon. That's Wisconsin versus 19 Alabama, who are 21.5 point favorites. Wisconsin will be with their backup quarterback still for this game. On paper, Alabama should win easily, but as we saw week 1, it's hard to trust Alabama right now. I think Alabama will win this game, though. The question is whether they cover the spread or not. I think they really do, but we'll see. I have them winning 31-13. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to learn about me. Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful weekend of watching more football. Thank you.